Doctori, tutto a posto? Welcome back to a new monthly update video regarding Sane C libraries. So, what is Sane C libraries? It's a set of C++ platform abstraction libraries for macOS, Windows, and Linux that focuses on fast compile times, being bloat-free, simple and readable, and easy to integrate with no use of the C++ standard library exceptions and no third-party dependencies. So, go and check it out on GitHub. If you're interested, you can get in touch on all of these social media networks. How should I call them? I don't know. But yeah, so that's what you can do. And what I can do is telling you more about what's new in June for 2024. So this month has been quite fun, as you can see from the meme here. This is the month where I've been finally started to create a small GUI example. The library itself does not provide any UI framework, so I'm just reusing the SCExample platform abstraction, Windows abstraction and GFX abstraction libraries. And I'm GUI library for UI to create this small sample. And this is mainly to show the integration of these two libraries with SCEasync and some other libraries. So what you can see is that I have created this application, which I think we can maybe show live. Yes, why not? So I have the repo is open. I can just run SCExample. This is compiling it and running it. And yes, that's the application. So what is this application doing? First of all, this application is basically always pausing. So it's trying to save CPU. It's trying to be environment friendly. And it's only waking up when I move my mouse. So if I stop my mouse, it's going to be going into this paused state. And every 2 seconds, it's waking up. Why? For no reason. I've just created a small timer to show the integration with the SCEasync event loop. I can say, for example, it needs to take 20 seconds to do that. So if now it's pausing, yes, you will see it will not wake up anymore. And then there is this continue drawing for parameter, which means, draw for another 500 milliseconds after there is any wake up event, which we can put to 0. So this becomes really like it only redraws when I'm moving the mouse or typing something in with the keyboard, but otherwise it will just be paused most of the time. So that's how this works. What other functionality do we have? There is the ability to load some plugins. What are plugins? Plugins is this small abstraction created by the SC plugins library, which is a very typical hot reload system, but it's a little bit more flexible in the sense it allows to create plugins that have a name. They have even some build options. You can decide to link libc or not and things like that. You can even give dependencies between them, such that when you have a plugin, it will, changing it will trigger the reload of other plugins. You define an interface and you export an interface, for example, using this SCExample drawing. And you can see it here. And this interface is just declaring a method. I could have been using a virtual interface, probably yes, but I like, there is no use of the virtual keyboard at all in the entire project. So it was kind of making sense to do the same also here. We can, for example, modify this plugin. Let's see, plugin 1. I can change the text. So let's say change me, save, and this is going to be recompiled and reloaded. I can, all the typical things you see in almost every demo that is showcasing hot reload. But we are going to do that because otherwise this would not be, proper hot reload demo. The cool thing maybe is that there are multiple instances of the plugin, multiple, different plugins. So you can section your application in different parts and have dependencies between them. So this is showing the last time it was reloaded, how many reloads it actually has been having. You can even manually unload it and reload it if you like. And so that's what the SCExample is doing. And if you have been paying attention, this is also monitoring the folder where the sources are. So there is a use of the FileSystemWatcher library. All of these has been shown into this series of videos. The first one where I'm just creating the application and showcasing how to integrate it with the basically just the input part. So how to make it pause and unpause using the mouse and keyboard input. Then there is the integration with the Async IO library, and that is like the most fun. This is actually the video that has had a little bit more views than the others, so I suspect that's a theme I should be trying to expand. It's cool because, you know, it's staying at 0% CPU all the time unless there is some event, so that's really nice to have in this kind of application. So to basically use an I'm GUI, not in the game sense where you have this update loop that runs and runs and runs and consumes battery and CPU time, even if it's it's a super optimized library, but to create something that it's only redrawing when it's really needed. And the third video is where I'm integrating all the required stuff to create this hot reload sample. So go and check it out if you're interested. So what's next? SCEasync. Well, the majority of changes to SCEasync have been integrated directly into SCExample because that's more a use of that library. But I've been able to abstract a little bit of code into this async event loop monitor class, which we can take a look a little bit at looking at the commit. This class has the ability to create itself, you know, on a given event loop. Of course, you can close it and you can start monitoring. Once you start monitoring, it will start monitoring the event loop on a thread, which we can see even here. There is a thread somewhere, yes. And when there is some event, it will call the on new events available. And when that happens, you can, on your main event loop, which could be a GUI event loop, call the stop monitoring dispatch completions. This is exactly what it's being done, but by the SCExample, which we can see on new events available. Yes, it's calling the so-called wake up. And the so-called wake up is what wake ups the drawing cycle, if you want, of the application. So this is how it works. Go and check it if you're interested. Maybe we can extract a little bit more code here, but for now I think it's good. Then changes to SC plugin. This is the library that allows creating this hot reloaded plugins system. I don't know why I keep calling it plugin and not scripts or something like that. I like the idea of plugins, even if I always think about plugins in the sense of this library as something you deploy in source form. So you are literally deploying CPP files and they're getting built at runtime, which currently means you need to have a C++ compiler and a toolchain installed. We will be able to lift this limitation in the future, I think. So, but for now, that's what it is. Some improvements, I would say, mainly ability to intercept the C flags and LD flags. There is this query interface, which is pretty cool. Maybe we should have a look. Actually, it's not anything crazy, difficult to do, but it's useful. I think that already exists in the, in this library. We can take a look at the test, for example. Query interface. So how do you use the query interface? When you load a plugin, you can query interface for some interface, and this is returning an interface, which is just pointer to some class. How do you define this contract? If you have your interfaces, you can define this, for example, itest interface 1 and 2. It will have a hash. This is exactly what it's being matched. And your plugin needs to export this interface by defining the plugin and exporting the interface with the list of the interfaces that are being exported. So that's pretty, standard. So it's cool. Yeah, here you see there is the dependency, which I think I've been referring to earlier. And go and take a look at that if this is of interest for you. We can add multiple include paths. So if, for example, I think I've been doing that in the SCExample. Let me look for it. I've been doing it because it allows me to use IMGUI path was include path. I can't remember what's the name. Oh, it's not here. It's in the hot reload. IMGUI path. Yes. So you see, we are getting the path to the IMGUI include directories and adding as include paths to the plugin compiler. So pretty standard stuff, but it's useful because now this can be configured. It doesn't cover anything you could be compiling into a plugin, because this is kind of a limited system, but I think it's good enough for what we need to be doing right now. Some other tricky stuff has been taken care of, more than done, like hiding the plugin symbols by default on macOS. Why is this even necessary? Because there is this, how can I explain that? If the linker of that is used by the Xcode toolchain will not deduplicate symbols compiled in different plugins, of course, because it's not aware of different dylibs that are defining the same code. The dynamic loader on macOS will basically it tries to save memory by linking a symbol that is defined into a dylib with a symbol. If the same symbol with the same name and same, content, it probably hashes it with the same symbol present existing into another dylib. So this means that if you load a second dylib, it will add to the ref count of the first, and this makes the first dylib not unloadable anymore. So I've been going quite crazy to figure this out. I should have been recording that in a video probably, and you would have been seeing me trying all the time to figure out why this was just, this plugin was not unloading, but I figured it out somehow. And so you are getting all of these goodies and my tiers for free, I suspect. Next, FileSystemWatcher. FileSystemWatcher is the class that allows to, watch a folder or file system in general. There was some terrible usability issues, like requiring reference into this init. Why? It was just not a good idea. So this has been, the reference was requested into the header, not in the init, because in the init it's good. The problem was it was requested in the constructor of the runner for the event loop. So that has been changed, and so this is now a lot better. Even the notify callback is now following same convention as the SC Async library, and you set it as a field on the FileSystemWatcher instead of needing to pass it as a parameter. So yeah, a small improvement. Oh, there is also this bug fix of filtering repeated notification on macOS. We're doing some trying to be smart to avoid sending multiple events multiple times. And with the way that FS event works, this is not really ideal because it's kind of merging together events. I don't know. I suspect maybe I could be doing something better than this, but for now, that's the best I can do. And yeah, let me know if you get to use it. The other changes that have been done are on the SC build class library, and this is a set of improvements. The main one has been the ability to create app bundles on Xcode. So for example, now if you see the SCExample output, well, not the one built by, I should open the one built by Xcode, but yeah, it's only done by the Xcode backend, by the way. It's creating an actual app instead of just the executable like it's being done from the make file here, which is, kind of cool. It can allow to add the icon and things like that, that I will do also in the future. It's also able to compile itself from paths with spaces and so on. So it's kind of growing, it's improving. I guess at some point we could be rising it from being just, with the red. I think it has the red flag. Let me see. Yes. We can probably rise it to yellow once it gains enough features, but that's where we are for now. Lastly, we have the set of additional fixes, just like every month, and working on an example, example, even if it's just an example, not an actual application, production application. This is already enough to trigger some bad behaviors and bugs and fix them. The only bugs, I think, is just this one in container in the vector map, where there was just a very bogus increment on the wrong spot type of bug. But that has been fixed. Then there's unterminated string that was leaving, the string unterminated if the format was failing. But everything else is just improvements, like process not spawning windows when spawning a new process on Windows, and increased compatibility and so on. So, this is what we can do to improve and extend and make the library more stable month after month. That being said, I think, that's all. I hope you enjoyed this small update video. I suspect you will be checking all of the changes, and maybe let me know if there is anything that has issues or that doesn't work as expected. Make sure to follow, and see you next time for the next video with Sane C++ libraries. Bye.